Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marsden Mondays. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And for those of you in the United States of America, I hope you are enjoying your Labor Day rest. All right. I'm going to get straight into it. Over the weekend, I think a lot of you saw that I was doing this kind of experiment where I was posting on X and saying, hey, guys, if any of you over there, could you come over, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel? And what I was trying to do was to get at least 10% of the people that follow me on X over onto YouTube. Okay, and all right, why? Why was I doing this? Okay, so I do have a couple of notes here because I do want to stay nice and concise, because normally I just freewheel it, right? But I do want to stay nice and concise. All right, this all actually starts with Hollywood, and I'm going to tell you how and why you see the same actors over and over and over again in movies. You might just think, oh, it's because they're famous, which is kind of right, but there's a reason for that. So, actors have a dollar amount value attached to them, just like any other commodity, okay? So let's just say a big actor comes along and he gets paid $20 million for a film. Now, normally when they get paid that kind of money, it's because they mean a dollar amount to the studios, meaning whether it's foreign or domestic, they can pretty much guarantee on the metrics that there's going to be a return on their investment, right? Just like any other investment you would have, right? There's an ROI on that. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but, let's say if you know that Tom Cruise is going to be in a movie, you know that it's going to be of a certain quality. For the most part, for us now, I could talk about this is not going to be woke. He's going to deliver, and it's going to be a great performance. You're going to get that. People know what they're getting, so they'll go and see a Tom Cruise movie and love it. That's why Top Gun made so much money. All right? So they have a dollar amount affixed to them. So let's just say you have an up-and-coming actor. All right? I'll tell you what. Why don't we use me back in the day as an example, because that's really easy. So I did a film with Michael Caine, and that kind of got me a lot of interest from the United States, because Michael was up for an Oscar at the time, and everyone was like, well, who's this kid with him? Blah, blah, blah. I said, kid, I was like 27, I think. Anyway, that got me interest from Hollywood. I had a manager come over, and I signed with a manager, and I went over there, and the next movie I got was Black Hawk Down. Now, that was a film, if you look back on it, it's all the young up-and-coming actors, right? Because everybody wanted to work with Ridley Scott. They had the pick of the bunch, and what they did was it was very smart. They went through and they said, okay, we've got some people that have dollar amounts, and then we have some people who have potential dollar amounts. All right, it's very important. Like, these are guys that are going to be somewhere at some point. A mixture of the old and the new. So then after that came out, some of us started getting offers. Right, I started getting offers, for example. So my dollar amount, my value had gone up. It was a certain amount based on that film. Now you might say, well, that doesn't really make sense because there was a lot of different actors in it. It's kind of like a bit of an anomaly because Black Hawk Down was such a unique movie for the time. But you can apply this to any kind of film. So then I went off and did, I think it was Anacondas was next. I think I did Helen of Troy and then Anacondas. Anacondas was made for like $25 million, and it made a ton of money at the box office, right? So even though it was part of a franchise, again, and this is part of the Hollywood agent's job, is to go out there and say, okay, I'm going to affix a dollar amount to Matt Marsden, or tell people, hey, listen, look, he was in Black Hawk Down that made $100 million, whatever it was. I don't know how much it was. I think it was way more than that. And then he was in Anacondas that made a lot of money. So therefore, he's worth this to you. This is his dollar amount, right, that you can get him for. And he's worth this amount to you. So, for example, like Matt Damon, for a long time, even though you'd spend millions on Matt Damon, he would get a lot more money back. He was the most, the actor with the most value in Hollywood for a long time, right? Because all of his movies tended to do a ton of money. All right, so you see where I'm going now. So let's just say you're worth $3 million. The the studio goes, well, we know that he's worth $6 million to us in foreign and domestic sales, so we can pay him the $3 million, and we know that we just need to budget that movie to break even for $3 million. All right. Now, they'll add other actors to that to make it bigger or whatever, or they might say that's all we need and we're going to roll the dice because we think it's going to make more money. Okay. So it's really important to understand that. The idea as an actor, what you really want to do as an actor is you want to get a movie, start on that movie, and before that movie's come out, right, because you've still got the value, you go, your agents go off and say, hey, listen, he's going to be in the next blah, 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 and we think this is going to be a giant success. So what the next movie thinks is, hey, listen, like after this movie comes out that he's doing right now, his quote is going to go up. So if we get him right now, we're going to get him for a bargain. All right? See what I'm saying? So then you see actors stack up a bunch of films. Now, what I did was I didn't want to do that necessarily. I wanted to give myself a little bit of space in between the movies and be a little bit picky, even though it didn't always work out like that, right? Because people come in, they take the films. But you get what I'm saying. You have a dollar value amount, and it's really important that you continually work because your agents can always go out there and sell you for the next film, even though it hasn't come out. And that's why you'll go, well, hang on a minute, that movie bombed, that movie bombed. Yeah, but they've already got like 4 or 5 other movies in the hopper that they've either signed on to or they're in post-production, they're about to come out. So it's incumbent on the studios, really, if they want it to be a success, to continue to promote that actor. Now, in addition to that, when a movie comes out, there's a ton of publicity that comes with it. Now, when I was in my big movies, earlier on in my career, there wasn't social media, right? And so you just came out, that was it. The whole of the publicity was behind you, and that was pretty much it. You didn't grow like your social media. You didn't grow your X or your Instagram accounts, okay? That came later. But again, the ones that have come out in recent years, studios look at their following and go, that person, and you guys know I'm talking about certain people, has 5.1 million people following him. So he's just got to put out a tweet, or post, should I say, to promote the movie. And that has a dollar value amount in and of itself, right? Just aside from everything, it's getting out to millions of people. Same for other people that have 8 million, who, I've spoken about before as well. Their tweets go out. So to them, they're never going to get properly cancelled. Doesn't matter what they say, because they're so big that they can't get cancelled. It just happens that the majority of them are liberals. But even if they weren't, because they're not going to get cancelled anyway by the studios, because they agree with them for the most part, and they don't really care what you guys think. Unfortunately, I'm going to get to that in a minute, which is why I'm having this conversation, right? So how does cancelling happen? Okay, well, a lot of the times it's not as straightforward as you would think, like with a Bud Light thing where you just go, I'm not going to buy it anymore, right? And this is what I keep saying to people. They're like, well, I'm not going to watch what that actor does in the future. It doesn't matter. It's not affecting him. It's really not affecting him because he has a certain dollar amount, made millions of dollars anyway, but he's got a certain dollar amount in the amount of publicity he has, the amount of followers he has. So he's always going to get work. All right? Numbers matter. They just do. So as far as cancelling is concerned, how does that work? Well, in a number of ways. Like number one, the most obvious is directors go, I'm not going to work with that person. I don't want to work with that person. Especially if there are several different options available, which there all are for most actors. You can choose one actor over another, right? So they don't have to go with you if they don't agree with you. So that's one way. Same with the studios, same with the producers. There's another element, which is people can block others from getting to you, right? So, or just not tell you. And it does happen. It does happen. Or they'll say that you're available. So someone can, not available, sorry. So someone can come in and say, hey, I really want, say, Matthew Marsden for this film, and it won't get to me. I won't get to know about it. We've seen this. We've seen people come out. We've seen the way, like you guys, it's actually been really the thing on, the lockdowns and everything. It's been very liberating because more people have seen where those of us have said, hey, listen, we got cancelled and the work just stopped. They're seeing now that, it was exposed. So guess what happens? You start getting less work and less big movies. So then your value goes down, right? Because you can't point to the last movie that made $100 million. You have to point to the other movie that you did that didn't make that amount. Now, on the left, if it's a movie that is pushing their cause, they don't care. But if it's something that you're trying to do and you're outspoken about other things, then they're just not going to hire you because you have less value to them. And then it becomes economic. Then it gets to a point where they can justifiably say, well, listen, he hasn't done a big movie in a long time, so why would I hire him? You see what I'm saying? It's very insidious. It's really, really insidious. Because you can't really point the finger unless someone comes to you and tells you, like, hey, listen, I wanted you for a movie and your agents didn't respond. So you have less clout. Certainly those of us Gen Xers that were kind of pre the social media aspect. So we don't have those 8 million, 9 million people following us. Like when I was in Coronation Street, if I would have had Twitter when I was in Coronation Street, we had 19 million people watch us every night. And that would have been huge. People would have just followed me on Twitter or on Instagram. It would have been massive. And then you have a dollar amount, and then you can influence. And they don't want you to influence, right? They don't want you to have a voice. You got to remember this as well. They do not want you to have a voice. And that's why it's so frustrating when you have people go, well, what movies have you done recently? Like, and I'm like, that none of that is relevant to what I'm saying. But, it's a tactic that they utilize to demean you. I don't care, right? I'll fight back at people who say that, but I don't care. I don't care what they think. All right, so all of a sudden, you have no reach or very little reach. Okay? So what I was saying about the social media and coming across from X to YouTube is you guys reclaim the power, because then you become the people who call the shots, not the studios, not the other people, not the agents, not the managers, whatever. You become the boss. And they don't want that. But the problem is, they know, and I hate to tell you this, guys, and the proof is in the pudding, because people go, well, maybe it's your content. Maybe if you did better it's not about that. It's not about that. They know that conservatives either won't do anything, they won't click, they won't go out and protest, they won't go out and get involved. Ask Sarah Gonzalez this, my friend Sarah Gonzalez, about when she's gone to the Drag Queen Story Hour. Right, nobody turns up to help her. Nobody. She's on her own. She does it on her own dime. She goes and she goes there and nobody turns up. And yet conservatives go, right, you go, Sarah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, but you help us help you, right? So we can have an impact. So I'm saying it's not about me. It's about others looking and watching what's going on and going, they're not going to do anything. Politicians go, I don't need to do anything because my constituents, they're not going to hold me accountable. Do you see what I'm saying? Like they know you're not going to do anything. It's like what happened in the UK. People just shrugged when those people went to jail. Like, that's unbelievable. There should have been protests. There's been protests all the time about Palestine. All the time. And yes, I know people might say, well, we're working, all this. That doesn't matter. If you can't do it, then please back the people that are trying to do it for you, that are trying to have reach, that are trying to get out there and put pressure on. It's for you as well. And like I said, on one of my tweets recently, on one of my posts, is I could go and take money from somebody and then I have to do what they say. I'm not doing what they say. I'm completely independent and talking out for you because I got a bunch of people contact me over the past few years saying, thank you very much for being a voice. Well, help me be more of a voice. Let's just put it like this. If the bad guys are watching me go out and say, I just want to get 10% of my following on X to come over to YouTube, and I get 1,000 people, which I want to thank those that I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that anyone would follow me. But this isn't about me. I hope you see that it's not about me. I'm not talking about being about me. It's about giving you guys more of a platform. Okay? I'll be quite happy doing movies for the rest of my life, right? But I realized that under the last 4 years that sometimes you got to step up and do something, right? So all those people, if I had 16,000 people come across, what message does that say? Just 10%. What message does that send to the bad guys? Hey, listen, these people are motivated. These people are going to stand up and do something. And we had that a little bit a couple of years ago, didn't we? Or a few years ago, and they squashed it, if you know what I'm saying. So, do you understand now where I'm coming from with this experiment and what I'm trying to show, trying to illustrate? I knew that I wouldn't get 10%. And actors in Hollywood know that. Other people in Hollywood know that. That's why they don't speak out, because they're like, and you guys might say, well, you know, just do it anyway. But not everyone is motivated the way that I am. I've got a bunch of kids that, you know, they need to have a great country to grow up in. And I don't want to leave them a worse country and a worse world than I was brought into. And it's certainly looking that way, right? So all I'm saying is this. And people say, well, why are you whining about it? Why are you whinging? I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Of course, you know, I'd like to be able to dedicate more time to that and do this all the time. But I don't have those amount of numbers. And by the way, it's free. It's free. It's absolutely free. And guess what? For those that say, I want to go, you should go on Rumble. I don't want to give my money to YouTube. You guys give your money to people that hate you every single day. You're just being selective when it comes to the media, which cuts us off at our knees. And it also stops us from reaching moderates and people that wouldn't normally hear our message. We've seen it over and over, right? People going, hang on a minute, I went to a Trump rally and everyone was really nice. Like everyone was, yeah, not everyone gets to go to a Trump rally, but guess what? They get to come over YouTube Shorts. They get to see Instagram threads. Okay? Like they stumble over them, it comes up in their feed. And if they go, oh, hang on a minute, like this person, he resonates with me. Then we start getting people to look at the bigger picture. Because a lot of them are in their little silos. If I just went over to Rumble, I'm just talking to people that agree with me. Why would I want that? It's the same reason why I rally against doing Christian movies, because we should be doing movies for everybody so that they go, oh, hang on a second, like there was that theme in there and that resonated with me, right? Being a good dad resonates with me. Okay? We can't just be in our own little silo. So all I'm saying is this. You can follow me. That is completely up to you. But just understand what I'm trying to do here and trying to show. And what is on the deeper level. The effect that you can have for not just me, for kids coming up. Give me a platform so I can give other people a platform. My friend Trevor Colt does it all the time. He promotes me all the time. He's like, follow Matt, follow Matt, follow Matt. Imagine if there were 50 people doing that with 1 million subscribers each, right? The youth coming up could come to us, not have to go into the system, which then you run the risk of losing your soul in. But we can do this. The funny thing is you guys have all the power. I keep saying it. You have all the power. They have no power. Like, we tend to get mobilized around something like Bud Light. Like, conservatives are very good about talking about what they're against, but they're not very good at talking about what they're for. But if you get them one-on-one, they know exactly what they're for. They know exactly what they're for. So let's do this together. We're a team. And trust me, the voices are going to be oppressed and they're going to be taken away. You just have to be so big that they can't do it. Chris Pratt had 3 franchises and he came out as a conservative. They couldn't cancel him. He was just too big. They tried, but they couldn't. Name another person under the age of 40 in Hollywood that's conservative. I dare you. I dare you. 2 actors on social media have 8 million followers and 5 million followers. I saw one tweet the other day and it got a ridiculous amount, in the millions of in millions of views. They get that every day. And their reach is massive. And so everyone thinks that that's the way. This is the way that left works, right? They keep telling everyone, Kamala's winning, Kamala's winning, Kamala's winning. Nobody believes that at all. But they keep putting it out because it's propaganda. And guess what? It's magnified by the people who have 1 million followers, 5 million followers. And they didn't get that because they organically built it. They didn't get that many followers because they were organically built. That's not the way it was. So see how it feeds into the system. The studios go, they promote their actors, the actors get more followers. And those of us that got cancelled, we have to kind of like try and get our base rallied because we don't have the machine like they do. And people don't respond. And we're trying to help, right? We're trying to help you guys. Like, we're in this together. And that's why it's kind of funny. And then what you'll see is people just like sliding away and you don't hear from them anymore. What happened to that person? Huh. Think about what influence Joe Rogan's had. Tim Pool. These guys are massive. Even Sean Ryan has done amazingly. We can do this. We can do it together. It's up to you, but understand the motivation behind it. It's not a selfish thing. It's not. It's because it's necessary. And I hope now you see what we're up against. Okay? That's why I go on about funding our own movies, right? It's the same principle. People complain about not having good movies. Don't fund them. We could change all that. You have the power. You are the most, we the people. They don't think there's we the people because we don't mobilize like they do. And you can say, well, because we're rugged individuals. Yeah, okay. Where's that got us? In this context, we have to come together at some point to go against a common enemy. I'm just saying.